Hello everyone, I hope that you are doing well and preparing best for your examinations. So without wasting any time, let us dwell deep into the science and technology section of the Hindu. So this is the science and technology paper for April 3, 2022, the Hindu, right? We'll be identifying the most important news and followed by discussion on them, okay? So let's see which are the most important news. Immunity following infection lasts up to 19 months. Fair enough. We'll see this one. In most of the articles, I find that the infographic reveals the summary of the entire this paragraph, right? Entire article. Okay. So first we'll see the infographic, and if I find something very interesting or very important for examination, then we'll see that section. Okay. AI fills the gap. Okay. We'll give these some read only, not more than that, right? Okay. More landslides, fine. And how male fruit flies, Drosophila meganogaster, right? Fruit fly is known as Drosophila megalogaster, right? So Drosophila megalogaster learns the rules of courtship. Look, we often do experiment on fruit flies because its DNA is more or less comparable to that of human, right? So whatever happens to them, how they shows the behavior is more or less common in human as well. Okay, more bats, we'll see. Too early to do away with face marks, yes, this is correct. Weaker zoo cat, we have to see why tiger and other cats have become weaker. Evolution can happen at shorter time scale. Okay, we'll see. All the articles are important, right? So the first one is hybrid immunity following infection lasts up to 19 months. Okay, let's see the infographics. Natural immunity cut the risk of hospitalization, obviously. Hybrid immunity boosts protection against severe disease, right? Let's see what it has to say. People with previous infections are protected against severe diseases, this is correct. Natural immunity from previous infection alone was 87% protective against hospitalization. Okay. People with natural immunity had an associated 95% protection against reinfection between 3 to 19 months after infection. Means people who had natural immunity, right, they had 95% protection against reinfection. Okay, from the same disease they were 95% protected between 3 to 19 months after infection. This means natural immunity was very active from 3 to 19 months. Natural immunity was associated with increased risk of hospitalization during first 3 months of follow-up. Means natural immunity was associated with increased risk of hospitalization. Means if the person is not having hybrid immunity, there will be increased risk of hospitalization during the first 3 months of follow-up. Okay. Hybrid immunity from one vaccine dose provide 94% lower risk of hospitalization compared to natural immunity. So when this hybrid immunity is there, then there is 94% lower risk of hospitalization, which means what? The actual immunity shoots up manifold, right? So this is the curve. Let me change the pen color to red. So this is maybe this is the hospitalization rate. This is time. Okay, now this is your first this is your natural immunity buildup, so it will fall down and continue to do so for about 19 months. Okay, fine, this is one thing, and then again it will shoot up a bit. Why? Because natural immunity will decline. Okay, now when we go for this again, initially it would be this only, and then when natural immunity will come out, it will obviously follow the path and say at this point of time we injected the vaccine, right? Let me change the pen color, I don't like it. I thought it would be a good color. Vaccine, yes, this is good. Vaccine, then what will happen? The immunity will shoot up again. Not so late. The immunity will shoot up again, and it will again try to come down like this, but it would cover more. It would be about lowest, or it would become nil many months after this 19 months. Therefore the chances of hospitalization, obviously this is the wrong curve, it should have gone like this, yes, So chances of hospitalization is nil up till more than 19 months, and after which it will again rise. So what happens that vaccine and natural hybrid immunity creates more immunity, the immunity shoots up, and hence the hospitalization rate, which is shown on the y-axis, right, comes down. Okay, this is it. Now let's see hybrid immunity after 2 vaccine dose was associated with 90% lower risk of hospitalization than natural immunity. Means if you are given 2 vaccine dose, then your hybrid immunity that is built is associated with 90% lower risk of hospitalization. Then you will say how this 94 and 90% lower risk of hospitalization than natural immunity. The first time it built was very important, was very necessary, and 94% was there because look, initially your body didn't had enough antibodies, so when it got the cue from the vaccine, it started producing a lot of antibodies, right? But what happens when you got the second dose, you had something, you had initially something, some antibodies, and now not so many antibodies will be formed. This is one logical explanation to it. And the second one is that by that time many more variants of the same virus, like the various variants like alpha, beta, gamma, delta, omicron, etc., have appeared, and they can easily evade our system, right? The system's immunity. Therefore this decrease from 94% to 90%. Okay, but still this is a high figure because the hybrid immunity due to this cocktail, due to these vaccines, are leading to what? Are leading to stopping or yes, stopping of these variants as well. Okay, previously the knowledge of duration of protection offered by natural immunity was 1 year. So previously what was thought, that natural immunity will lie for about a year. Now what it is, but now what is the study reveals that it extends for 19 months. So what is the range of natural immunity? 0 to 19 months. Okay, fine. And especially 3 to 19 months, right? 3 to 19 months. Okay, and from 0 to 3 months there was increased chances of hospitalization. So look what happens if we go by the same curve. Then this is 0, this is 3, this is 19, and so on. So chances of, originally the chances would have been like this, suppose linear, or what linear, it should have been increasing. Say originally the chances of hospitalization was increasing like this, right? What happens when vaccine was administered? So it has decreased, but not so much. But after 3 months it decreases drastically and goes down to not so easily. Okay, it decreases drastically and goes on till 19 months, and after that it increases. Okay, so this is like this. Natural immunity might be better maintained than immunity induced by vaccines only, the study finds. Yes, it may be true, natural immunity might be better maintained by the body than immunity induced by vaccines only. Look, the person who has been in any disease, who has been hit by the disease, and he or she has developed an immunity, then that immunity added to will be better than that of the vaccine induced immunity. Why? Because the body has actually fought the virus or the pathogen in the first case, and in second case the body is creating a memory kind of thing from weaker pathogens, right? Therefore it may be possible that natural immunity might be better maintained than immunity induced by vaccines only. So what is the core of this article? The core of this article is, it is not that only we need vaccines to recover. It is a combination of both, a cocktail of both natural immunity as well as this vaccine induced immunity, which is called hybrid immunity, that will help us to retain or to fight this virus in long term. Okay, the entire research is on this. Okay, unknown factors, mainly because the protection offered by nature. Okay, hospitalization during the first 3 months after infection, but once past this stage, natural immunity infected with 87% protection against hospitalization. Yes, this is it. This is in the article, not more than this. AI fills the gap. An artificial intelligence called Ithaka is able to predict missing text in ancient Greek inscription and estimated time frame and geographical origin of ancient inscription. Okay, so based on AI, what they are doing, they are trying to fill the missing text in ancient Greek inscription. Why? Because the text has been lost in time, right? So what they are doing, they are trying to predict that missing text and estimate the time frame, right, and geographical origin of ancient inscription. Ithaca is trained on thousands of existing inscriptions to suggest text to fill the gaps in fragmented writing. Its suggestion tends to match those previously made by academics. Okay, nothing much. So AI can do what? AI can predict texts as well, right? Meaningful texts. Meaningful text. So this has been a question in 2020, I suppose, right? More landslides. Climate change could make a landslide more likely happen by creating more extreme rain events. So climate change can lead to more landslide due to more rain, more powerful wildfires, rising sea levels. Rain reduces the strength of soil obviously to a point where it falls and slides away. Wildfire can destroy stabilizing vegetation. Rising sea level can destabilize slope. So 3 things are there, just know it. More bats. A genomic analysis suggests that there are probably dozens of unknown species of horseshoe bat in Southeast Asia. Researchers examined hundreds of bats representing 11 species. The Rhinolophidae family of bats are considered to be the reservoir of many viruses that can jump from animal to people, including close relative of SARS-CoV-2, right? So this one, the Rhinolophidae family of bats, this is the reservoir of such viruses. Okay. Now let's see the next one. This weaker zoo cat. Research has found that big cats held in captivity have less dense bones than their wild counterparts, and is likely because of their reduced movement. Yes, this could be said. The study is based on bones of animals that lived in zoo around mid 1900. So the results may not completely translate into modern zoo with large habitat and better enrichment program. Okay, so the research is based on the zoo in mid 1900s. So it may not be consistent with contemporary scenarios, but yes, this may be a thing that the bone density in wild may be higher. This is simply because they tend to run fast, or they tend to run for their survival, right? Okay, let's move. Too early to do away with face masks, says experts. So they prevent respiratory ailments. There is nothing much to say in this. You already understand that it is not time to do away with the COVID safety protocol, right? We must be adhering to this COVID safety protocol. Why we should adhere it? Because prevention is better than cure, right? So if you are not infected with COVID-19, then you won't be required to be cured. Okay, so face mask is very necessary till date also. Okay, it prevents respiratory ailments. It not only prevents COVID-19 per se, but also prevents other respiratory ailments, including respiration of these pollutants such as SPM, suspended particulate matter. Okay, so and other gases also. Fine, so wearing mask is a good practice. Now let's see this one. Evolution can happen at shorter time scale. Now whenever we hear evolution, we tend to consider that it would say characteristic 1 would has been, or say characteristics A would have been transformed to characteristics A plus in some millions year, right? In not 10, 20, 30 years, but in million years, right? But the scientists say that this may not be true. Evolution can happen at shorter time scale as well. Not all evolution happens due to habitat destruction. Okay, now what has been the presupposed reasons for this thing, for evolution, as we understand from till date, that habitat destruction, invasion, pollution, these are one of the three reasons that tends to create this thing, evolution, right? What are the three things? Habitat destruction, invasion, pollution. Okay, hip. Fine. So we'll give it a brief read. Okay, that was a question that we sought to answer with our 2014 study on dynamic adaptation in fruit flies. The premise was that if adaptive tracking did occur in population experiencing rapid environmental change, it would alter our understanding of importance of two evolutionary change for ecological outcome. Thus began. So what it would help? It would alter our understanding of importance of evolutionary change in ecological outcomes, right? Spread over 8 years. So the experiment was spread over 8 years by evolutionary biologists across 3 universities. Okay, the research of the result of the study, direct observation of adaptive tracking on ecological time scale in Drosophila, was published in journal Science. Fine. Evolutionary process. The study has vastly changed our understanding of evolution and questioned the old notion of evolution being a slow process occurring over a long period of time. So they say that we understand now that evolution is not only a short, slow, very slow process, but the other one, that is being a relatively faster process, can also be true. We now have the evidence that change is actually happening faster, right? Change is actually happening faster than we ever thought, and that not all evolution happens due to habitat destruction, invasion, or pollution. It establishes that the evolutionary changes happen quickly and researchers can track these in real time within a single season turn in a year, right? So how fast it is happening? Within a single seasonal turn in a year. Now this is actually very rapid. So in a year it is saying that it has shown these evolutionary traits, right? Just in a year. We have considered that evolution takes millions of years, but here it is what it is saying, that in a year these have happened, right? Taking fruit flies Drosophila megalogaster as sample, we began large scale controlled field experiment in Pennsylvania for 4 months. What we did was directly measure the phenotypic, means change in the change in the looks, the physical characteristics is called phenotypic, and genomic evolution, and genotype evolution means change in gene in response to natural seasonal change across 10 independent replicate field population. Mesocosms means what they did. Look, this is a group of fruit fly. Okay, so they have it in a box. Similarly, they have other group in the box, means they have, so this has 10, so this will have 10, this will have 10, and so on. They will have, so 10 independent replicate field population. We understand now, from the same field they have, collected the population, and they have created or replicas of the experiment, the sandbox, we can say it, where experiment has to be done, right? And in each comprising of 1 lakh fruit flies. What I said, that I have said here 10, here they have used 1 lakh fruit flies. The study was vastly different from ones done earlier to track adaptive change in shorter time span. The population and size of replication in our studies were the distinguishing factor. Obviously 1 lakh fruit flies, counting them is not easy, and they have done it for various, right? We conduct a large scale research to ensure accuracy of result. Okay, replication was also of utmost importance to establish our premise, which is why not only our sample size large, but we also had 10 replicate cages, okay, each of which gave comparable result. Predatory condition in the mesocosm cages, the fruit fly experienced the same seasonal change, heat, rain, cold. They had same food and were exposed to same predatory conditions. Changes were then observed in 6 phenotype related to this reproductive output or stress tolerance. We sampled individual from the original population and 2500 eggs from each cage at the first 4 times point of observation. The genome were sequenced to measure genomic changes over time. Population dynamics were largely consistent among the replicates. Population size increased sharply during summer, peaked in the early fall and then declined steadily as minimum daily temperature reduced in late fall. Egg production shows similar pattern while observed overall egg to adult growth was low. Fair enough. Now you read it. There won't be much in this also. Interesting question. Finally, the study raises several interesting questions around species conservation effort. Now, this is the practical implementation of this program. What is how it will help us to conserve the species? Do population with large standing genetic variation turn out to be more successful in handling changing climate and others not? So the question is that the population that is having a lot of genetic variation, for example, cats, right? A type of gene in cat make it lion, some make it tiger, other make it panther, then some make it cheetah, some make it leopard, some make it snow leopard, and so on and so forth. So you see how much genetic variation in cat is there, or say rice, or say mango. Okay, you take any of these and they are very stable species. Why? Because they the reason is, one of the reason can be that they have a very large standing genetic variation, okay, which help them to adapt to the changing climates with respect to others who don't have such high standing or such large standing genetic variation, and so they over the time may perish. Okay, so this was the entire thing. It's a good article to understand how experiments are done and what are the three factors for this thing for evolution to take place. Okay, now one more thing is this: how fruit flies learns rules of courtship. I don't think it is very important. Initially I thought it could have been, but still we are not into it. Knowing which female would have them can save precious time for male fruit flies. Okay, this is an experiment. I respect these experiments, but for exam point of view I don't think it is very necessary. Okay, I am leaving this one. You give it a read. If you like it, tell. If you understand something important, tell me, right? I'll do analysis. Okay, so with this we end today's science and tech section from the Hindu. Fine. Okay, so friends, I really hope that you like this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe our channel and share this video with your friend. Also, keep studying hard, keep following your dreams and keep tuned to our channel. Comment below for any suggestion. Till then, goodbye, good luck, keep studying hard and follow your dreams.